Hi guys, Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in Berlin, Germany, in front of the Charlottenburg Palace. One of the nice places to go and check out if you want to see kind of the Prussian Kaisers and Kings, kind of royal chambers and stuff. Very nice place. And today what we have for you are the top 10 places that you should check out here in Berlin. And I'll be honest guys, there are more than 10 places to check out here. I actually lived in Berlin for over 2.5 years and I love it. This is kind of my hometown in Germany. So what I do is I try to give you guys some really good stuff to see and do while you're here. Now the first thing you should check out when you come to Berlin is the Brandenburg Gate. This is the most famous symbol of the city. When you go there, from the fall of the wall and the reunification, all kinds of great stuff. The Brandenburg Gate really is, and the Troika on top is the main thing you really need to see when you're here. Now the second thing you want to see is Museum Island, or Museum Insel, and on there they have world-class museum. And when I say world-class, I mean UNESCO World Heritage museums. The Pergamon Museum with the Ishtar Gates, the Neues Museum, the new museum where you can see Nefertiti's bust, the Wolters Museum with the sculptures there, the National Gallery, the Old Museum. There's so many fantastic museums here in town, but Museum Island is the best place to go because you can see history right there in the best museums in the city. So that's the second thing you really should do when you're there. Also, the cathedral, the Berlin Cathedral, is right there as well. So hey, what more can you ask for? The third place to check out when you're here is Checkpoint Charlie. Now Checkpoint Charlie is famous because that's the only place that foreigners could actually cross in and out of East Berlin to West Berlin. So that's why it's kind of the most famous one. Like Charlie means C, which is probably the third one. There were other checkpoints, but this is the only one where the foreigners were going in and out. So it became very famous. And when you go there, there's a museum you should check out that'll talk about the history of people trying to sneak out of East Germany and East Berlin and their stories. It's a very moving thing, but it's fascinating to see all the kind of different ways people try to get in, whether hiding in cars or jumping over stuff or whatever. I mean, it's a very moving museum, and I really recommend you go check that out. Now, the fourth thing to check out when you come to Berlin is the Reichstag. Now, when I say you go to the Reichstag, that's the German Parliament building. What you want to do is get in line and go up to the top of the cupola, the dome. You can walk up into the dome and have this amazing view of Potsdamer Platz, the new center. You can see the Brandenburg Gate. You can see all the new government quarters and stuff. But it's one of those really cool things you do. It's like you go up like, oh wow, that's cool. It's like the London Eye. You've got to go up the London Eye in London and take the right. You got to go up the Eiffel Tower to see that view. You go to the Reichstag and go up to the dome there, and that's something you have to do when you're here. So that's number 4, going to the Reichstag and going up to the dome. Number 5 on my list, I'm going to put a lot of things together like Museum Island. What I'm going to say is take a walk from Alexanderplatz to the Brandenburg Gate. Okay, now Alexanderplatz will give you a nice view of what the real center of East Berlin was. And you can see the Weltzeituhr, the world time clock, which is kind of cool. The TV tower is there. That's how you know you're in the right place. It's also a good place, to get the subway and the S-Bahn and all kinds of stuff like that. And you get a nice feel. The Red Town Hall is there. There's the Neptune Fountain. And you do this walk from there. You pass the cathedral, the Museum Island, they're rebuilding the city castle, and you get on Unter den Linden. That's the famous street down the center of Berlin, and you have Humboldt University there, you have the Hotel Adlon, all kinds of famous places along the way, and the Friedrich II statue, all kinds of fantastic stuff, and you end up at the Brandenburg Gate. And it's one of those walks you really have to do when you're here in Berlin. Number 6 on our list is here at Charlottenburg. Come to the palace here and view the salas, or the rooms of the Kaisers and the Kings of Prussia. And you get a good idea of the opulence that the kings and princes had at those times. And it gives a nice kind of counter view of the city that it is now. Today it's a very metropolitan city, very cosmopolitan, all kinds of stuff goes on. This gives you a little history of the background. The 7th thing to do is another walk for you so that I get more stuff in. You want to go to the Ku Damm, or Kurfürstendamm. This was the street, this was the boulevard of the West. When there was West Berlin and East Berlin, the money flowed in here to show how great the West could be. And you have amazing stores like KaDeWe, Kaufhaus des Westens, or the shopping mall of the West, one of the biggest department stores in Europe. You go there, they have fantastic, like the fanciest stuff and great eating, all kinds of great stuff. Nice windows at Christmas time. The thing is, when you come out of there, you walk up and down the Ku Damm, you'll see the Kaiser Wilhelm Gedächtniskirche, or the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church. And this is a church that was bombed during the war, and they left it there so people could remember, look, this is what war does to us. It's not some kind of history book thing. We can see it right by ourselves and see how we've been affected. And that's one of the things I really liked about the Ku Damm. You have all this new age stuff, but it also takes you back in history. The eighth thing you want to do when you're here is go to one of the districts, whether it's Friedrichshain to have, drinks, or Prenzlauerberg to eat, or Kreuzberg to have, Greek food, Turkish food, whatever. Or if you want to come here in Charlottenburg, there's some great places to drink and eat here. There's all kinds of great atmosphere. Whether it's food, whether it's, cafes, whether it's clubs, there's lots to do here for old people like me, or older people like my parents, and younger people as well. Great clubbing, nightlife, all kinds of stuff. But you can take in all the food and all the culture when you're here, and that's one of the things I really love. So make sure when you're here, go to some of the districts, eat some non-German food, because you're not going to find a lot of German food here in Berlin. So go and try all these different ethnic dishes and ethnic restaurants when you're here, because you will get that in Berlin, which you don't get a lot of other places in Germany. Number 9 on my list is people watching and going to the parks here. Now there's lots of green space here, whether it's Grunewald or Wannsee, or going to Tiergarten, the park here in town right by the Reichstag. And there's a cool tower there where you can go up to the top with this. It's called the Siegessäule. And it's one of the, another one of the symbols of the cities. You can go up there. What I like is having a picnic there, especially in the summer. Winter it's a little chilly, but in the summer there's all kinds of people around there, young, old, nude, not so nude. I mean, it's a great trip to go see, and it's one of those things you really should do when you're here, because Berlin has so much green space. You can actually feel like you're not in a city of 3.5 million people. You can feel like you're more in the backwoods, and so that's a really kind of nice thing to do. Now, the 10th thing, now there's so many more places to go check out when you're here, museums and stuff like that, but I would say the 10th thing you should do when you're here is go to Potsdam, take the Regional Express just out of town, and that's where they have the Sanssouci Park, and where you can go and see the orangery and the palaces there of the Prussian kings, and you go there and you see, wow, that's where the Potsdam Conference was, where they finished the war, they signed off for the war, and this is where the history was made, and the palaces there are fantastic, and Potsdam's a nice little town to check out as well. So those are my 10 favorite things to do here in Berlin, though I probably actually gave you 50 things to do, but I hope that helps. And Berlin is a fantastic city. And if you want to learn more, we have 5 things you love about Berlin, 10 fun facts of Berlin. Check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. And please like and favorite our videos, and we really appreciate all your subscriptions. So bye from Charlottenburg in Berlin, Germany. Tschüss!